Today, let us learn how to use Express in Node.js to create a web page. But in this video, I don't really just want to create a web page. I don't really just want to create a web server. I also want to show you how to deploy it on Heroku. Now, for the past few months, I should say, I have been learning Node.js. Although I'm not really yet there, I think I need to learn quite a lot of things, and I'm still learning every day. But at the same time, I also want to validate my learning. So what I'm going to do today is I want to show you something very simple. I want to set up a site, a very simple site, and we will also then deploy it using Heroku. Now, for this example, I am basically using Heroku. Now, before I talk about what exactly I'm going to do, I want to show you this site. Now, this is one site, a very simple site called ravisagar.com on one of my domain. Now, this site is nothing but simple plain HTML with CSS and JavaScript. Now, since I'm learning Node.js, I have some projects that I think I can work on. And one of the thing that I wanted to do is I want to basically serve this site these HTML files, which are nothing but stored on my computer using Express and of course Node.js. But at the same time, later on, I will do few fancy things. But my first intention is to simply set up a simple web server. Now, I'm using express.js, and I will be using the example here. If you go to express.js website, you can take a look at this example, hello world example. I'll simply copy this and I will paste it in a file called app.js. Now, I have a folder already where I am keeping track of my all those files, simple HTML files. But in the beginning, all you need to do, you need to basically create a file. It could be within a folder called src, which I think is a good practice, but you can have this particular file anywhere. And what I've done here is I've just copied the code that I pasted the code that I copied from the express.js, not JS. What is the domain name? expressjs.com. So this is something that I just copied, and the only thing that I changed here is that there is a variable called port where I am using this process.env.port. And this is important because when you are deploying it on Heroku won't let you deploy on port 3000. I think this port 3000 is for local development. And right now we just have this code here where we have a path which is slash. So basically whenever someone opens this root, or let us say you have a domain. In my case, it is ravisagar.com or whatever domain you may have. So whenever someone opens the domain, the root will open and display this text. Now, to start the web server, you need to simply use this method here called listen, and you have to specify the port number, which is of course nothing but 3000. And when you run this, for running this, you can do node src. And by the way, I think I'm just jumping. So when you have a new folder, fresh folder, you can create this file in src folder or just on the root. Just in the root directory, but you have to do few things. Number one, you have to install Express. So for doing that, no, even before installing Express, you need to set up your project, your folder with npm. You need to initiate it with npm. So you need to do something like npm init, and when you do this, it will ask you some questions, and just keep pressing enter and accept the default values. So once you do npm init, then you need to simply use npm express. It will install the latest version of Express. And after doing these two things, you can do something like node src, where I have my app.js, and simply run it. And you will get this message here called, which is of course we are printing using the console.log, example app listening at this URL. So if we go to the URL, localhost 3000, it will run this. Now let us make some changes to this particular site. It is not really a site, but we can do few changes. So I want maybe 2 more pages. So I can have something like contact, and I will have some different message. So whenever someone visits localhost/contact, contact us, and I may want to also display, or not display, but create one more path called about, just to have some variety in our site. Although I know it is not really great, but hopefully it will give us some good idea. So we have the pages, and I can restart this node. I need to cancel it and start it again. But if you install Nodemon is basically another package that you can install globally. So any Node.js project can use it. It will basically listen for any changes. So whenever you do a change here, like about us, and you save the file, it will pick up those changes. Now let us go back to the site, and if we go to about, you have a new page. If you go to contact, you have one more page, which is contact us. This is good. This is great. Although it is not really wonderful, and it is not really the most wonderful site in the world, but we are getting close. And my ultimate goal, as I mentioned before, is to serve my HTML pages. And of course, I have more plans, which I will definitely share. Now, what I want to do now is I want to basically deploy it on Heroku. Now, Heroku is a free service, not free, but they have a free plan where you can definitely create or deploy your projects. I'm still exploring it, but I think it works fine. So you need to basically tell Heroku that whenever I post, I commit my files, and we'll figure out in just a second how to do it. Please start this particular file called app.js, which is in src directory. So let us now learn how to basically configure the Heroku. Now for doing that, I need to go to the website heroku.com, and you can sign up. When you sign up, you will get an option to create a new app along with the pipeline. So let us create a new app called Ravi Sagar HTML. And okay, so let me HTML. I think this is fine. You need to select your region, and you need to add a pipeline. So just create a new one and create app. So basically, I am creating a new app with a pipeline. And what it will ask me to do, it will ask me to set up Heroku first. So you need to, if you're doing it for the very first time, just install Heroku CLI, and you have the instructions here. If you're on Mac, you can use Homebrew. If you're on Windows, you have the installers. And for Linux, you have, of course, few of the methods, some package managers. So once you set up your Heroku CLI, you need to initialize your directory with Git. You can also do the same thing with your existing repository, which is the case in my case. My site is already on GitLab. So if I show you my Git remotes, I can see here that I have my origin on GitLab, and I also have one more Git repository configured here, one more remote, which is Heroku, which you can also do the same thing. You can have multiple remotes. And what I did in the beginning for my existing Git repository, I didn't do Git init. If you're doing it for the very first time for like a fresh project, just do Git init, and then you still have to do this Heroku Git remote. You need to basically add Heroku remote. So once you do this, whenever you have a new change in your file, you can simply do git add, git commit, and git push Heroku master. So these three lines will basically deploy those changes that you do, and Heroku will pick it up. So in my case, I will use one of my existing project, which is this one, staging. The name of the app is staging, and I think the pipeline is also, no, the name of the app is called Ravi Sagar. the pipeline is called staging. So whenever I deploy any further change, it will pick it up. So let us see how it goes. And of course, when you install Heroku CLI, you need to log in first. It will give you one unique URL that you can open and authenticate. So let us make changes. I think we already made changes. So let us commit these changes to our Git. So I can do git add. So first, let us take a look at the changes. So if I do git status, it will show me that one of the files is modified. I can do git add dot. Then I can do git commit. Your standard Git development workflow and the process. Some changes to app.js, and finally you have to push it. So there is a command called git push Heroku master, and when you do this, it will basically push your changes to Heroku Remote, and the master is of course the name of the branch. Just press enter, and it will do two things. It will basically send your files. It will push the files, but it will also start generating the build, and it will also deploy the changes. So let us see how it goes. And while it is happening, if you go back to your app, you can also see the changes here on the home page, not the home page, but the dashboard of your app. And I think it has now deployed. You will of course get some messages here like verifying deploy done, which is good. Launching, so promising. And let us verify. So for your pipeline, if you go to your pipeline, you will get one unique URL. Like in this case, it is Ravi Sagar, the same URL that you set up initially. And right now it has two options: staging and production. We will figure out later how to set it up on a custom domain. So this is our site. Hello world. Wow. I can go to contact. Hopefully it will work. No, because the contact is not, I think I didn't type contact properly. Contact is serving, and I can have about us. So it works. It works perfectly, and it is quite good. I need to of course figure out how to configure my own custom domain, but the whole point of making this video is to have some workflow, some kind of process in place, because when I'm learning something, I prefer learning when I'm also building something. Especially it has to be some project to keep myself motivated. And I'm making these videos because I am learning with the intention to also help you, and I will learn it properly. So that is the whole point. If I can explain you, then it means that whatever I learned is working. And at the same time, hopefully, if you are in a similar situation, if you're learning Node.js, because it is quite interesting, to be honest. And I feel a bit sad because I'm a bit late in learning Node.js, but it's okay. It is better to be late than never. So I will continue my journey of learning Node.js and creating wonderful world-class apps. And definitely I will share my my progress and updates, either by making a video or writing a blog post. Do let me know if you have any feedback. So this is all I wanted to share in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.